Hey, how y'all doing? Thanks for joining me again. Getting back into the story. Around this time, we did have one of his remote artists come visit us. A Canadian came down, and it was a really mixed experience with him because it was a conversation we had. We were all this is kind of where I want to base it off of. There was like me, the owner, Canadian, Courtney. This is back before Courtney left. Like I said, timeline's a little muddled. Or maybe he wasn't there. I don't remember. But there was his son. There was several of us in there. I believe even Jalapeno Cheese was in there. And he was talking about this show, Letterkenny. And I'd seen it afterwards. I wasn't introduced to it until he told me about it. And then he was talking about the show and explaining. He says the thing he loves about the show is the way they screw with people and how they screw with people. And then he was like, "Yeah, I do that all the time, man. I'll just, I'll screw with people. I got nothing else better to do. Just kind of poke their fingers or poke their buttons and stuff like that. See how I can just get a rise out of them. I find it entertaining." And then he's saying that to me, and I'm remembering that. And it's like 3 to 5 days later, I'm working on a project. I was clearing out reorganizing the storage closet. And then right next to it is the D&D wall, which got like all the D&D minis. And he's over here staring at it, looking at it. And then he's like, this wall looks kind of a little messy and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I got models coming in. I got a shipment out. So I had more models coming in within a couple of days. And said once they came in, I'm going to reorganize it. And then he's like, well, I don't know, I kind of feel like you should do it now. It kind of looks messy, it's not professional. And then I'm like, it'll be fine. I got a lot of stuff I'm dealing with. And it was just back and forth. He was arguing with me why I shouldn't fix the wall to plug the holes in the minis and this and that. And I'd get it if I was like, sitting at my desk, my feet up in the air and just doing nothing. But I was literally in the middle of another task. And then he's just breaking my balls over it back and forth. I'm giving him reasons why, I'm not going to do it right now. I'm doing this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I really think you should, though. And then I'm like, you know what, fine. Look, if you really want it done, go ahead and do it. And he's like, oh, no. This is the manager's job. I shouldn't be doing that. And it's just, that rubbed me the wrong way. And then there was another incident. And this one I really had to pay for. We had the merchant's food service guy, the guy who run the truck. When they brought the food in, the dolly, as they pulled it up the stairs, it was damaging the brick on the brick stair going into the house. And I'm outside talking to the guy because the owners are like, we can't do that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so I'm trying to argue with the guy or just talk to the guy. I'm like, okay, can you guys bring it here and just carry it to the top of the stair and I'll take it inside from there? And then I'm sitting there talking about that. And then Canadian walks up and he starts inserting himself in this managerial decision. And he's like, well, why don't you guys just meet him halfway? Just drop it off right here. And then you carry it up the stairs and carry it inside. And I'm just like, I give him a look like, get the fuck out of here. And then he kind of looks at me, he's like, you want me to get the fuck out of here, huh? He says it out loud. Like, she says the quiet part out loud in front of the dude, pretty much undermining my ability to do what I need to do. And that's trying to finesse this guy into bringing the stuff up to the top of the stairs for me. So for the next year, I had to carry the goddamn stuff up the stairs because this Canadian couldn't keep his mouth shut. And it's like, it was just, there's multiple things like that he did where he was just willfully just trying to get a rise out of me because he thought it was funny, he literally said it. And then it's just, why do I got to deal with that kind of stress? I couldn't understand it. So it pissed me off to the point where I quit. Because that was at that moment I told him, I went to the owner. I'm like, I don't care what you're doing. I know you're paying him. He's not going anywhere, but I'm fucking done with him, I'm done with people because, like I said, I've dealt with my whole life people disrespecting me because I don't project that alpha male aura. I don't want to. It's douchey to me, I did when I was a Marine. Come on. But it's like I grew up enough and matured enough to realize how douchey it is. So I stopped because it's a very adolescent teenage mentality. It shows that you haven't grown where you got to hurt someone else for no reason just to get a rise out of them. Teenagers prank people. Adults shouldn't be, you got better things to do. But anyways, also around this time, we hired a couple of store people, which was nice. And I'll refer to them as Heckle and Jekyll. It was 2 kids, younger guys. One of them was in the military, but I have no idea which one because neither one of them had any kind of bearing. I just remember them saying one of them was a veteran, but they were both trash. They were honestly, in the beginning, I feel like they faked it. I feel like they did that thing where they started out in the beginning where they worked, because in the beginning they would dust shelves, and honestly, I don't even know if they really dust the shelves or just miming it. Because I would see them, I'm like, all right, these guys are going to work out. They're looking for stuff to do, and like the windows, they would clean the windows and stuff like that, and that lasted for a good couple months, and I think actually, yeah, it was before that. So yeah, that went on for a couple months. But before that, again, inventory started coming in, and here was an issue I had. This turned into a big issue later. But we started getting inventory in, and I had my system. Like, it was managerial work, shouldn't have anyone doing it. Then I started coming in and seeing boxes open and processed, and I'm like, who opened this box? And then they would tell me, oh, one of the Heckle and Jack would be like, oh, I opened it. I'm like, why'd you open it? He's like, the owner told me to. I'm like, all right. So I'd go down to the owner and I'd tell him, hey, can you do me a favor? Please don't let them open these things, because they don't know how to plug stuff in. There's no system. I mean, we have to put this into the internet. So it's got to be all put in the same way. If I haven't had a conversation with them, how are they going to know how to plug it in? You know what I mean? And he's like, all right, no problem at all. So we just go back into it. A couple of days later, same thing happens. I see a box open, ask them what's going on. They tell me, oh, the owner said put it away. I went back down there, asked him again. He's like, oh, yeah, sorry, blah, 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 give excuse, whatever. Come back in, a couple days later, same thing. It was 3 times in 10 days. I had to stop the owner and tell him, please don't let these, underlings who aren't bought in, who don't care, plug this stuff in the computer. Because like it said, with the Vallejo paints, with stuff, they're long ass names. You have to put them in exact. You have to put it in multiple ways so people can find it. You have to there's no abbreviations. You can, but it's a dick thing to do, because you're not going to get your stuff found, because people aren't going to look for abbreviations. So it was irritating, but the reason that turned into a big problem was because it never really stopped. The owner was like, well, I just felt like you had those packages back there for 3 weeks and I didn't like the way they looked. And I'm like, 3 weeks? What? Like, I've never had anything back there for more than 3 days. And it's like, I'm sorry if it doesn't look right, but I'm doing a lot and it's on me. And he's like, well, yeah, so I'm trying to take some of the work off. And it's like, you can't take that work off me. That's not work you can take off of me, because they won't do it right. It's going to snap back us if you keep doing it. And unfortunately, he wouldn't listen. So my response to it was I quit taking off days. I would, basically what would happen was I would let them know a standing order. It's like, if any package comes in, you call me first. You send a message to me first, and I will come in. I don't care where I am. And that's just started what happened. And there was times, even with that standing order, they would every now and then someone would open a package and process it. And they're like, oh, well, he just told me to. And it was so frustrating, because it's like, how am I supposed to keep the integrity of the inventory when multiple people who don't care what they're doing, who are just looking for the easy way out, and I'll explain to you how these two look for the easy way out later, are doing this kind of heavy paperwork? Because like I said, it's not as hard, it's just tedious and it's long. It's getting it in the computer and just tick, name. And then putting going over there, physically counting the inventory to know how much you have on hand, going back to what you have just received, and then checking the back. You have to check multiple places. They won't take the time to do that. They'll just punch in random numbers. And it's proof, because the numbers we were having were higher than theft. So it was just random numbers going in. Anyways, I'm going to cut off right there. I'm going to start another video and just keep on going with it when I can. Like I said, I'm trying to do a couple different things right now, so it's a little rough, but I'm going to try to smooth it out as I can. Again, thank you for your time. Hope you guys have a great day, and you take care.